Did you know that your unhealed childhood trauma can block your fertility? It is so important to clear old childhood patterns or things that hurt you so you can free up your energy to welcome the baby. My name is Betty. I'm a 46-year-old solo mum by choice. I have a 6-year-old boy and I'm about to embark, I've made the appointment with the doctor on my second baby at 46. Okay, and I realize how many women out there need this. Okay, there is importance for you to feel in the right energy. That is, I truly believe, most of the work, because the easy part is going to the doctors, taking the hormone tablets, doing the exercise and the food. Physically, that's great. But guess what follows us in our head every day? 60 to 70,000 of thoughts. Okay, so we got to get our thoughts on track, because our thoughts determine how we feel. And what we feel is how we do and operate. And what we do is determines what we have. Okay, so to release these patterns. So when some patterns of mine that I adopted from childhood, and this is what we all do, from 1 to 7 years old, we adopt the beliefs of our parents or our guardians because they are our gods. Okay, we adopt those patterns and we take them in. And then you bring up coping strategies. For example, I had busy parents. Well, I had a mum that worked a lot, 2 to 3 jobs, and a dad that was very rarely present. But when he was present, there was always tension in the house and he would scream at mum. And what did I used to do? Looking after my little brother and sister, I'd be quiet, okay? And usually I'm loud and boisterous, and I would be keeping the peace in the family because that was my coping strategy, thinking it was my job to keep the household cool so mum doesn't get the wrath of dad. Okay, so I'm already holding my voice down, but I'm trying to get validation. Like, if dad sees I'm doing good, maybe he'll be nice to mum. Okay, if I can impress him, then you go to school and you do the same thing. You're impressing, you're trying to get more validation, more approval, because maybe you're missing that at home. Okay, so that almost stopped me when I was thinking so much. I wanted validation from society that, oh, it's okay to have a kid, or like I felt a lot of shame too. Like, I'm single, I haven't found the love of my life, and here I am having this baby. And you're being shy and you're hiding your voice again, even though it was my absolute dream. Okay, so we already start to lose our true self, our true dream, because of the validation thing, the approval thing. Okay, so it's really important to be aware. Okay, being aware is the first step. When you're aware of these things, these patterns, you can realize, like, oh, that's what I used to do when I was 5. Okay, and oh, I kept doing that into my workforce, into school. Oh, okay, oh, that's separate to me now. Put that to bed, and then you've got more energy. Okay, more energy, and you don't have the thoughts directing where your emotions go, because where your emotions go, okay, it goes in. And you guys know what it's like when you have a period, when you're going through a lot of stress, when you're not eating well, when you're not sleeping well, when you're not drinking a lot of water. What happens? Sometimes you skip a period, okay, or it's very irregular. Okay, I know when I was doing a lot of sport and I was doing like big tournaments and stuff for netball, all right, there was a lot of stress on my body, okay, and I used to skip periods for like 2 times, depending on the period. But that, we don't need science to prove it. You guys know what it's like. Once you're stressed and you're not nourishing yourself, that can block the fertility as well. And of course, your thoughts direct your emotions. Okay, so we need to work on that. So, but one of the biggest things is to letting go, because we can do all that mindset work and affirmations and meditations. Yes, and that does help, but we just have to also release those blockages as well. And so I'm going to be sharing more of those tips, the things that I do to get my vibration up, to calm and to talk myself into knowing that I'm going to have that baby. I've already started doing it, being the delusional. Okay, but the really big point of getting through this is releasing the trauma and looking at your triggers. What triggers you? Okay, because triggers are great. They bring up what the baggage is that you're holding. So try this. So a trigger that I have used to have is when my son would complain, and he still does sometimes, about like, oh, I can't put my shoes on properly. I used to just get so furious so quickly. Like, honestly, I'd go from a 0 to 10, just going, oh my God, why can't he do, I can't stand the whining, okay? And I realized after a few years of that, I'm like, oh, I know, because when I was a kid, I never had a chance, like I had 2 younger brothers and sisters, then I had 5 older brothers and sisters, but they all left home, and then I was the eldest of the youngest. But there wasn't time. It was just like 8 kids in the house, do your thing. And in our culture, it was like you're seen and not heard. No like conversations about, hey, how was your day? It's more like, okay, go put the rubbish out, go do this, da 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 da. So my voice wasn't heard. I just never complained. It was just the thing. I never complained. I just do your thing, because that's what we did. Even if I felt like I wanted to, I wouldn't even dare. So when my son does it, I'm just like, oh, okay. But now I know where that comes from. I'm a lot more patient. So there is beauty in triggers. Okay, yes, it might put you into a frenzy, but just look behind it. Another trigger, for example, whenever I watch movies where there's a beautiful, affectionate love between mother and daughter, I always tear up, okay? Because I always craved that as a child. But my mum, she didn't know how to do it. She had 8 kids. She was the main worker, 2 to 3 jobs. But also her mother died when she was a baby, I think. Yeah, less like a few months old. Then she had a stepmother who wasn't very nice to her, who treated her awful. Okay, so my mum didn't know how to display affection. She didn't know how to say I love you. Okay, and that's very prevalent in our culture as well. Love is shown through support, through providing for you, through being around, okay? So you just have to learn that. And when you know that, I'm just like, oh, I'm grateful for mum. Thanks, mum. I mean, my mum's not with me now, but I always send gratitude, not like, a few times a week. She'll always be in my thoughts and in my gratitude rant, okay? So you just, triggers are magic, okay? So triggers help you find what the trauma could be, okay? And when I say trauma, it could be just perhaps you got lost in a shopping center for 5 minutes, okay? And you felt abandoned. You felt like you were the only one in the world. And then you felt like rejected, like, I can't believe mum lost me. She walked off and la la. Like, when you are in really emotional stress, you bring these feelings up, okay? That may have happened to you. So when your friend is 5 minutes late, you're the person that fires off like a firecracker, and you get so angry because they're late, and you're like, and then you're always complaining about that person or anyone that's late. I can't believe, okay? That could just be stemming back from, most probably, from that time where you felt abandoned, and that's where it may have stemmed from, okay? Or perhaps you nearly drowned in swimming. So of course, those stories where people are in fear of the water is because they're carrying it. But that's separate. That's an old thing. And of course, what do? You overcome that fear. You go and get swimming lessons or whatever it is if you want to overcome that. Okay. So anyway, I hope that has helped. I'm going to share more of the tips and things and daily routines that I do. I'm probably going to put yes, I am actually going to put some guided meditations in there about calling in your baby and how you want to feel and help you find that emotional feeling of when you're going to have your baby, because you want to be in that energy. You don't want to be in scarcity mode where you're like, I'm going, because when you do that, you start to stress out, okay? You start to tense, okay? And that's bad emotions, thoughts, and then it's tensing up your body. It's not welcoming the fertile baby to come through, the baby juices, all right? And also, I'd love to make them for myself. Another thing is, no, that is it. All right, thank you for watching. Just subscribe here if you'd like to know more. I can't remember if I said, but I've started my IVF journey with baby number 2. I'm now 46. I had my first kid when I was 39, and 4 weeks later, I turned 40. I had no history of pregnancy. I had a low fertility. My AMH was like 9. So anyone can do this, but you've got to work here first. That is the #1 prep secret, here to here, okay? And then, of course, do all the physical stuff as well. All right, bye-bye.